All right, good evening, everybody, and can you hear me?
Are the mics on?
Mm-hmm.
I have a red light on mine. Even
I
when
get
turn
red
it
light.
on.
Okay, even though the red light's on.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the May 2023 Personnel and Finance Committee meeting here at 6 o'clock p.m. at the City Council chambers. The first item on the agenda is the vouchers, and that's to discuss and approve the April vouchers.
Make a motion to discuss and approve the vouchers.
I will second it.
Questions or discussion on the April vouchers, the April 2023 vouchers?
I have one. Not discounting her work and her ability and her tenacity, but why are we paying Christine more money? There's a $1,200 check in there for something about the remainder of the contract or in the contract. Is that library?
Well, that must be the library, because it's not a city.
I don't know what she's doing for you, but we pay a heck of a lot of money to two other people to do marketing, so if that's what it's related to.
No,
Okay.
No.
Then God bless you. Thank
Yep.
you. Is that programming?
it's adult programming.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Further questions or discussion on the April vouchers? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the vouchers signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed, and the vouchers are approved. Next item on the agenda are the minutes from the previous meeting, which was our April 25th meeting.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 25th meeting.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion on the April 25th, 2023 meeting minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those are approved to go on, be forwarded for the next common council meeting. Section 4 of the agenda, items for consideration. First is to review and discuss the fiscal status of the 2023 Wisconsin Public Service expense for city facilities. And there should be a handout on this.
The handout is from Park and Rec's handout, then there's more in the agenda packet.
Okay. Is this just because it wasn't included in the packet?
Yeah, it was in a personal email.
Okay.
I think we're experiencing the same thing throughout the city. Our usages actually go down, or has gone down in a few areas where we've done things to improve, or has been fairly close to the same usage, but the rates are going up so much. So it's one of those things where, just like everything else, we're going to get to a point where we have to make a decision as far as do we want to maintain the same level of service, or the only thing left to cut is personnel.
Unless there's some energy efficiency items, and I think here at City Hall, that's still something that, as part of the 2024 capital budget, really needs to be discussed.
So where are the rates compared to a year ago?
Say they're somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 to 15% higher.
Than a year ago?
Fluctuates month to month.
Wow. But I mean, it doesn't fluctuate down a whole lot.
So last year in May was, per kilowatt hour was 16 cents, this year it's 20, so 25.
Well, I'd just like to say, I recognize there's not a lot we can do about the rates other than to watch the usage. I appreciate having this information, though, Kathy, because I think it keeps us paying attention to where we're headed, and if we need to, you know, if there's other little things we can cut back in the meantime to kind of offset a little bit of it, that's good, but I just think it's good to have a heads up on where we're at.
At this point of the year, are we projecting to stay within budget, or we're gonna have to have a mid-year or late year?
The control is by department, not by line item, basically. The only one that might have a more of a challenge would be the street garage. Turn somewhere within the whole street budget, hopefully they can cover up. Although the May invoice was closer to 2021 than it was for 2022, so.
Why the street, go ahead, Your Honor.
I guess my biggest concern is, if you look, not biggest, but when you look at the Park and Rec at the Smith Center, it says ice and summer rental in August in 2022, that was pretty close to a $6,000 increase just to have the ice in there, because is that just a one-time event and then they drain it again?
I don't know if that was the camps they put on.
Yeah, I did some kind of summer thing and they paid for the additional. My understanding from Park and Rec Director Wendorf is that they take a meter reading when they put the ice in and basically bill everything to the user group if they want ice in the summer.
As long as
So
they're
you think
paying
we
for it.
recoup that and rent?
Yeah. It's no different than the festival grounds. Basically, we recoup the usage for the rodeo and for the fair.
Okay. Well, if I do $6,000 extra,
Must be an event.
right?
Further questions or discussion on this agenda item?
I guess here in City Hall, the biggest thing is moving to LED lights, and I don't know if they've got the whole police department done now. It's close, so, I mean, we still have other light units within this building that really need to be replaced.
Right. Going back to your comment about the city garage, Kathy, why the city garage?
Because it's gonna be the biggest one. My projection is basically it's gonna be $7 grand in the hole.
Our plant too, or the one that we share with the park department over there, there's older heaters in there. It wasn't like especially cold year, but we were at, I want to say close to 60% in the last month, so it's concerning.
The 6-month winter doesn't help. Okay. Anything else anybody has?
And have you thought of going back to, I realize it's a much bigger building than what I do with my commercial building, but on Thursday at 4 o'clock, can we turn it down to 58 degrees?
Yeah, it's even cooler than that over there. That's, that's not.
I guess my only comment is that I would either like to see this continue every month or every other month that we get an update on this.
Do you have a recommendation on that, Kathy?
I would think probably, given that the usage is getting down, probably every 3 months would make more sense.
Usage will be done for the summer.
For the summer months, basically, other than here at City Hall where you have more air conditioning, because we have tenants in this building, we need to have air conditioning, basically. You have lower usage in all other facilities. Fire station is pretty much pretty consistent in terms of their usage.
All right, well, let's split the difference and see that every 60 days a committee will review an update. All right, moving on to the monthly reports. Mayor Haas's report, the finance director, city attorney, city clerk, municipal court. Questions or discussion on any of the reports that are in the agenda packet?
First.
do not have any questions. I think Kathy answered the questions that I did have, so I don't have any additional questions.
I guess the only thing to add is basically I did include in my report is basically, this was the May 1st shared revenue proposal. The city would pick up an additional almost $382,000. The second version that passed the House at last week was closer to $500,000 increase in shared revenue. So we'll find out. I'll go away by mid-June.
Say that part again about mid-June.
By that time, hopefully the governor and the
Okay.
two branches of the legislature have this is separate from the budget bill. It's a
Right.
separate bill
Mhm.
on shared revenue.
Okay. Questions or discussion on anything in any of the monthly reports?
I'll make a motion to place on file.
I will second that.
Hearing nothing further, all those in favor of placing the monthly reports on file signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those are approved to go on file. Next agenda item in section 6 is public comment. Is there anybody on the teleconference or in person that wants to make public comment? Last call for public comment. Anybody on the phone or anybody here in council chambers that wants to make public comment? Hearing none, the next agenda item is to establish a date and time of our next meeting, which is proposed to be Tuesday, June 27th at the same time, 6 p.m. Does that work for the committee members? We will go ahead and plan for that date and time then. Next item on the agenda is agenda item 8. And that is to consider going into closed session. Tom, did you want to read that?
This, the committee may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 1985, 1E, sub C, and sub E for considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, or deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session for the purpose of discussing fire union agreements.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I will second it.
All those in favor? Yeah, roll call again. Lori.
Okay. Mr. Kaler?
Aye.
Ms. Firmanek?
Aye.
Mr. Russell?
Aye.
3-0.